All right, turning now to Salesforce. It was a disappointing forecast, sending shares sinking. It's on track for its worst intraday performance that we have seen. Actually, now with it off just around 20%, the biggest intraday drop that we have seen since at least 2004. Now, the company is expecting its lowest quarterly revenue growth on record. Analysts slashing their price targets on Salesforce's stock here, many citing the possibility that the company could be falling behind in the AI race, and exactly how that's factoring in demand here for software. So joining us now, one of the analysts who just lowered his target on the stock, we have Rishi Jaluria. He is RBC Capital Markets software equity analyst. Rishi, it's great to talk to you here. So let's, I guess, just give me your first reaction to this print. Clearly, the street is very worried. We are looking at a drop of just about 20%. You lowered your price target. So what does that tell us just about how tough maybe these coming quarters could be here for Salesforce?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Look, my snap reaction to the print is this is a tough environment that we're in. I know there were some green shoots, and Mark Benioff sounded really bullish off the Q4 print, but the macro environment for software is just really, really tough right now. And I think that's very clear after HubSpot, after Workday last week, and now after Salesforce last night. When I look at the numbers, right, this is probably Salesforce's first miss in, I don't know, 10 years, maybe more than that, like a true miss. And their guidance on the best forward-looking indicator, which is CRPO, is in the single digits. So they're skating that line of no longer being a double-digit grower anymore. And I think that's really worrying people when you think about it. Is why are they growing slower than the overall market?
When you think about what they talked about on the call as well, the deal scrutiny environment, the kind of longer lead time to actually see a deal come over the finish line as well here. What does that all signal for where we're actually seeing more broadly, perhaps a little bit of a period where B2B sales for companies could be really stringent or really scrutinized for sake of redundancy there?
Yeah, I think we're going to be in this sideways holding pattern for a while. That's kind of what all the checks and data points that we're picking up are telling us. And really, I think what happened is over the past couple years, and really over the past decade, every company was focused on digital transformation, migration to the cloud, and especially during 2020, 2021, probably overbought software. And now CIOs are taking a look at their IT budgets and saying, where can we scrutinize spend? What is truly necessary? Where can we reduce costs? You combine that with all the headcount reductions that we're seeing out there, especially in the tech sector. And I think that all makes sense. And then maybe lastly, I will add increasingly, I think there is a crowding out effect when it comes to AI. As I've talked about actually on your show many times, I'm a huge believer in AI. But what I think is happening is CIOs are kind of going all hands on deck when it comes to AI, figuring out their AI strategy, who the right vendors are working, to work with, getting their data estate in order. And I think that is leading to a deprioritization of migration to the cloud, deprioritization of expansion. I'm not saying it's cannibalizing budget, but that deprioritization is what I think is showing up in all the numbers we've seen this earnings season.
Rishi, is that something that you expect is going to last?
I do. I think we're going to be in this for a while until the macro environment improves, or there's a little bit more clarity around, what is the quote right AI strategy and what is the ROI that you get out of it. I mean, we've seen some great early statistics around AI usage, but that's theory, right? When in reality we can start to see greater productivity or newer revenue opportunities, then I think that starts to unlock the use of software. But when I really think about when can AI start to turn into a real tailwind for enterprise software companies, and specifically for enterprise software companies that have a solid AI strategy, that feels like a back half of next year type of story. So we might be in an air pocket until that happens.
So Rishi, then real quick, where does that leave Salesforce when they talk about some of their AI initiatives there? I guess my question to you is, how much is that really going to be a driver of sales here, at least in the shorter term?
I think it's going to be de minimis in the shorter term, to be quite honest. And to be quite candid with you, I think Salesforce has a lot of potential to benefit from AI. It's a system of record, widely used, the distribution is there, the use cases are there. I want to see more out of Salesforce's AI strategy than what I've seen. I kind of compare them side by side versus HubSpot, which I understand more mid-market and SMB than enterprise. But I think HubSpot has been doing some really interesting and innovative things when it comes to AI. And I just haven't seen that level of innovation when it comes to AI from Salesforce. And I honestly think they need to innovate at a faster rate or they risk being disrupted by the likes of HubSpot.
Salesforce did nothing to take the idea off of the table of a potential acquisition here during the call yesterday. How much should investors be worried about that?
I think investors are concerned, and quite candidly, they should be concerned, right? I mean, we don't know exactly what happened with Informatica, but it came from reputable sources. So I'm likely to believe that there's some, actual smoke to, behind that fire. But from my perspective, I don't think investors would have been happy with that, especially when you're doing it from a position of weakness, where growth is continuing to slow down. I think investors do not want to see Salesforce buy revenue growth, and investors do not want to see Salesforce buying EBITDA either. So if they were to make a big acquisition, I think it would have to be something that makes a lot of sense strategically and is very close to the core of what they do. And I think Informatica would not be that.
Rishi, Jaluria, we appreciate you taking the time here. RBC Capital Markets Software Equity Analyst. Thanks so much again. Salesforce shares off just about 20% this morning.